Today I'm going to go through the features of the new Clashfront calculator that I'm releasing. We'll go through briefly how to set up the basic calculator, and we'll also go through a few of the other features that I've added in this release. So the first thing that you'll need to do when you're setting up the sheet is add in any of the guilds that are in your Clashfront for the week. And you should also tick which one belongs to you. So for example, we're going to go with Guild 1 this week. And in this box, you need to put how many teams you plan on deploying. So the maximum number is 100. That's your 5 vanguards with 5 teams, and the rest of your guild having 3 each. So we're just going to go with 100. And in this box, if you're planning on allocating vanguards, which I'll explain later, this is where you would set up your vanguard names so that they can get some directions and instructions from you. So we're just going to set up 2 for now. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to go over to the point calculator sheet and go through the basics on here. So at the top, you'll see a chart, and this is going to keep the totals of all of the bases that everyone is claiming through the Clashfronts. You can use it as a predictive chart as well. So I could go through and say, okay, I'm going to claim these 2 bases, and then the next time I'm going to claim, these ones as well. Some people just do it based like round by round. It's really up to you how you want to use it. There is also a point override system that you can use, which will allow you to add any additional points that you've been receiving from skirmishes and the trials, but we'll go through that near the end of the video. So just for basic use, what I suggest is as soon as you know where the treasure is going to be, you just use this up here and add which base has the treasure, just so that it's calculated into your points. Let's, for argument's sake, say that it's going to be at the HQ. And after you've added the HQ in here, if you scroll down, you'll see that in round 4, this is actually showing us 750 points as well. So when you come to that round, it's going to get calculated up here and also show down the bottom. Now, if you're planning your first round and you just want to do the basics, which is just putting in which guilds are going to claim each tile and your team counts. So let's not look at the vanguards at all. What we would do as Aqua is mark these ones as ourselves. And straight away, you can see that our points have gone up to 180 because we're claiming both of these tiles. Now, we're going to say that gold is going to get this one because they don't have to fight anyone for this tile. And red is going to claim this one for the same reason. And purple for this reason. And we're going to guess that purple is going to win this tile. Maybe you've had a bit of a look at their guild. They might be a bit stronger. And at this point, this is the first round, and this is what the points are going to be just from the bases. So as you go through each round, you can add in more predictions, and you can get to an endpoint of roughly where everyone's going to be. Of course, that's going to change based on skirmishes and trial points, and it might also change if some of the guilds have alliances, or perhaps you might lose a tile or gain a tile that you didn't plan to. So it's something that you probably need to keep updating every round. You can't just plan the entire week unless you're against some dead guilds, which most of us have been again for the first week and possibly for the second week as well. Now, the next thing that I would usually do is allocate some team numbers for my tiles. So I want to get some trial points in this week. So I'm going to put, say, 20 here and 80 here. You might want to put more on this tile and a little bit less here. Again, it sort of depends on how strong your enemy is down here. And as you go through, you'll see that there is a link here, which is showing you where you have access to. So once we get to round 2, you'll see that this one is now linked. And even if we didn't claim this tile, which of course we do because it's our tile, but let's say we forgot or no one moved there, you can see that we are still linked to IB1 through this tile. So at this point, we now have access to this tile by 2 directions. Now, if we were to go to round 3 and we've claimed this tile and we've won it, we're now going to have access to the purple tile, and we're also going to have access to the HQ. So this is just an easy way for you to see which bases you will have access to without going back into the game. And it also makes sure that you're not allocating teams to bases that you don't have access to. Just keep in mind that if, for example, you manage to get this one, obviously this is a bad example early on, but say at some point in the event you manage to get this tile and then you're cut off, someone else owns this and you own this and this. You can still access these tiles, I believe. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. Okay, and moving on to vanguards. So what I've added this time is a way for you to assign vanguards specific bases and also give them some instructions. This is something that I've been doing with my guild. It might not work for everyone, but you can use it as little or as much as you want to. So this section here is going to say which bases you have access to where you have not allocated a vanguard. So if I want to allocate vanguard 1 to aqua 2, it's going to disappear from this box because we have at least one vanguard on that base, which means that at the very least, you're going to have a vanguard ready for the skirmish. Now, I want to allocate vanguard 2 to aqua 2, but also to OB1. And because I already have vanguard 1 over at aqua 2 and it's a safe tile, I want vanguard 2 to make sure that they have their strongest team available on OB1. So I can use this drop down to select strongest, and I can tell them to put their weakest over at OB1 because we know that's a safe tile. And if, for example, we're on like a later round, so somewhere like this where we have, a lot going on, right? You can say, okay, aqua here, gold, and I'm also going to give this one IB1 and IB2. And purple 2. Okay, so I can say here that I want strongest, weakest, and remaining, which means that I want to put the strongest team that they have on IB1, the weakest team they have on IB2, and the 3 remaining teams that they have should all go onto purple 2. And this one, I can do strongest and remaining, or I can do weakest remaining. If I just want them to go to one place in particular, I can even just say, go put all your teams on aqua 2. Now, I find this really useful for my vanguards, especially when they're not quite sure what my goal is. If I am trying to make sure that we win specific skirmishes, extra points, I'd like to be able to tell them where they should be putting their teams. Sometimes it's easy just to, tell them to put everything in one spot. It doesn't always work out that way, especially when there's 9 tiles and we only have 5 vanguards. So you might want to like spread them out a little bit. But yeah, it just depends how much you want to use that. These notes aren't mandatory, so you can just allocate the vanguards to the specific bases and they can pick whichever team they want. Or if you might want to give them more instructions in person, you can message them. You can do whatever you want with those boxes. There is also a way for you to update what is available in these drop downs. So I'll show that to you really quickly, and I'm not quite sure if you can do this on a tablet or a phone or how you would do that. If you do need help, you can reach out to me. So if you have the drop down open, you can edit here. And what this will do is open the side panel where you can either update the existing notes or you can add new ones. So say I wanted to add test and click done. You want to make sure that you apply to all, and that will add the option to every single drop down for the vanguards. So now that I've closed this, I'll see that my new option is here and I can now select test. Now what we're going to go through next very quickly is the point override system. So let's just set it up quickly. So you can see there in round 1 that we have already set up all of our bases. And I've come along to round 2 and I say to myself, okay, I know that I won some skirmishes and I want to know what we're actually going to end up with point-wise. So I'm just going to fill these in very quickly. We say that they won these and we're going to predict that the red wins this one as well and this one. Maybe they're going to be our competitor this test scenario. So when you come up here, this is only the base point. So the melee points. It doesn't include the skirmishes or the trials. So if you wanted to include those, you can go back to your setup sheet and use this point override. And your completed round is the one that has already been done. So at this point, we're up to round 2. So round 1 is complete. So we would select round 1. And then through here, we just add the points that are from the report in game. Just keep in mind that the order of these colors do not always match your game. They are different for everyone. So you just need to make sure you're putting points in the right spot. Don't just read left to right from the game. So say, for example, we're going to say that this was the point spread for round 1. When you go back to the point calculator, you're going to see that this is now showing the updated override points, and you can still see your round 2. And once we come to round 3, we can do the same thing. Just keep in mind that this is the total points as of that round. So if you're into round 3, you would change this to round 2, and you'd put the total points as of the end of round 2. So you wouldn't just put round 2's points, you would put the total of round 1 and round 2 into these spots. So next we're going to go through the shareable view tab. So this is just a quick and easy way for you to share to your guild where they should be putting their teams, and you can also direct the vanguards if you want to. So for example, on this one, where we set the 80 teams here and the 20 here, you can see those numbers, and you can also see that we set up the vanguard 1 and 2 to use their strongest here, and vanguard 2 to use their weakest here. So if you were to go change this over to all for vanguard 1, it's going to immediately update vanguard 1 to all over here as well. So this is just a nice screenshot that you can send to them, and it doesn't have all the extra names and all the guild information. It's just something that you can share to them that tells them where they should be going without all of the rest getting in the way. So the next thing I want to go through is the base power comparison, which is a new feature on this version of the sheet. So this is just a really quick way for you to see roughly where you are in power on average compared to the other guilds. So you can look at the guild information and you can enter their guild powers in here. You can either round them or you can enter the numbers exactly as they are in game. It's up to you. You can't put like a K or an M. So just the numbers. Say, for example, I could say they have 10,000, 2,000, maybe 8,000, 5,000, another 10,000, maybe a 12,000. Okay, and maybe a 13,000. Okay, so at this point, you'll see that our guild, we have 7 active members. Our average power, our total power is 60,000, and this is our average. So what it will do is it will automatically highlight the 2 closest values to your average. The reason that 3 are highlighted in this case is because 2 of the numbers are the same. So if you've got if you're rounding, it might highlight a few extra. If you're putting in exact figures, it's going to be very rare that you have more than 2 highlighted. Now on this right side, what it will do is organize it by highest power to lowest power. And what I really like that for is that if I'm going through and comparing 2 different guilds, let's just say they are a bit stronger than us, they have a few stronger. You can see that when you come over here, that on average, we're around the same. But if you have another guild that is a bit higher, and their average is going to be a lot higher, you can instantly see that ours is around 10,000, 8,000. There's 8,000, 7,000, a little bit less, but theirs is a lot higher at 13, 12,000. So it's just a really good indicator for you to say, okay, on average, where are our power sitting? Of course, power isn't everything. It's seasonal power also. It does come down to teams as well. It also comes down to placement. If they could have all their powerful guild members on a different part of the map. I just like using it as, you know, a bit of a basis for which guild I should be looking out for. I would also recommend only adding active members here. So if you're looking at a guild, an enemy guild, and they've got a few members that have been offline for 2-3 days or more, I would generally not include them. 2 days is probably around when I would still add them. Definitely nothing over 3 or 4 days, just because they might have like a few very high power inactives and they're going to change your results, and it's not going to be very accurate to what you're actually going to be facing. And this way you can also keep track of how many active players they actually have, which means that if, for example, your guild has 30 active members and this guild only has 20, you're going to know that even if they have slightly higher power, you are more likely going to win some of these battles because you have a few more teams on the board. So yeah, it's just something that I like to use for our guild. Not particularly much in the first week or two, but definitely by week 3 or 4 of Clashfronts when you're facing stronger guilds. And the last thing is just this additional help tab. I just added some basic instructions on how to use the spreadsheet, just mainly around the calculator with the setting up the bases, the team numbers, and the vanguards. If you do need any additional help, please reach out to me. I've included my line ID and my Discord ID on the setup tab of the spreadsheet, which is here. Now just keep in mind my username on Discord does have a full stop at the end. You do need to use that when you're trying to message me. I think that's all for this video. I'm sorry if I was talking a bit fast. It's very late here and I just needed to try and get this out for you guys for round 2 of the Clash Fronts. If you have any questions or need any help, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help, and if you have any suggestions, I'm definitely open to adding anything into the next version of the spreadsheet. Thank you.